You're likely sitting in a quiet room, certain that your surroundings are physical and permanent. Time moves forward in a predictable sequence. But as this solid object begins disintegrating into fine dust, that certainty starts to feel misplaced. When physicists pushed past atoms and into the fabric of space itself, they didn't find a simple mechanical foundation. They found a level of complexity that suggests our senses are lying to us. At the most fundamental level, reality stops acting like matter that exists independently of the observer. The deeper we look, the more the universe behaves like a system actively being processed by a central engine. At the atomic scale, the solidity of our world dissolves. Electrons exist as clouds of probability, shifting through various states. This uncertainty remains until observation. Measuring forces these possibilities to collapse, and a fixed electron snaps into reality. This mechanism mirrors the way a video game conserves resources. The system only renders the high-resolution details of a room when a player walks into it. The universe seems to only finalize physical reality when it is being looked at. On the scale of our solar system, this quantum chaos gives way to rigid, predictable laws. Planets follow precise orbits, and light travels at a fixed, unbreakable speed across the vacuum. It is strange that reality obeys equations at all, especially equations so clean and simple. This mathematical precision suggests an engineered architecture rather than a chaotic natural origin. Moving outward to the Milky Way, we find a massive structural anomaly. Galaxies rotate at such high speeds that their visible mass shouldn't be enough to hold them together. Centrifugal force should be tearing them apart. We use the term dark matter to describe the invisible force stabilizing these systems. We cannot see it or measure it directly. We only know it exists because the system behaves as if an unseen variable is controlling the outcome. Dark matter functions exactly like hidden background code, an unobservable parameter required to ensure the visible simulation remains stable. Beyond the Milky Way lies the Virgo Supercluster, a massive web of galaxy clusters bound together by gravity, stretching across billions of light-years. At this scale, the universe takes on a familiar shape. Filaments of galaxies connect dense nodes, separated by enormous empty voids. It looks less like astronomical debris and more like the optimized routing pathways of a neural network. These macrostructures are eerily similar to data architectures designed to move information across a system with the least amount of resistance. This specific layout minimizes the distance between nodes while maximizing connectivity, using the smallest possible amount of matter to bridge the gaps. This statistical optimization for efficiency raises the question of why a natural universe would organize itself like a high-performance computer. At the furthest edges of physics, we encounter absolute boundaries: a hard cap, speed of light; minimum space, the Planck length; minimum duration, the Planck time. If you try to measure anything below the Planck scale, the laws of physics stop working. Reality hits an absolute bottom layer, a rigid, unsplittable grid. These limits act as hardware constraints. The Planck length is the pixel size. The Planck time is the frame rate. Movement is a discrete, stepped sequence from one grid point to the next. The universe is also fine-tuned with impossible precision. If the strength of gravity or electromagnetism shifted by even a fraction of a percent, atoms would fly apart and stars would never ignite. This suggests that space and time are not continuous fabrics, but a configured grid with strict operational parameters designed to support a stable environment. The combination of resolution boundaries, probabilistic rendering, and fine-tuned mathematical constants moves the simulation idea from a thought experiment to a consistent hypothesis. If we accept this, we have to ask, what is the purpose of the model? Is it a study of consciousness, a historical reconstruction, or an experiment we lack the language to describe. We are trapped in a closed loop. Every experiment we run and every telescope we build is made from the same code as the simulation itself. You cannot use the system's own tools to step outside the system. Definitive proof is impossible. We are limited to searching for inconsistencies within a loop that has remained remarkably stable for billions of years. Imagine zooming out one final time, passing the observable horizon, and reaching the absolute edge of our contained reality. Beyond that boundary, our concepts of space and time likely don't exist. Whatever is running the system exists in a state we can't measure or even imagine. This realization changes what it means to be human. Your thoughts, your memories, and your sense of self are not independent of the universe. They are generated components of it. You are parts of the script, observing itself from the inside. The universe behaves with enough engineered consistency to make the possibility of a simulation impossible to ignore. The dread lies in the evidence itself.